Hey everyone, Terrius here, your Director of Indigenous Partnerships and Inclusive Economy. First of all, Happy New Year. I hope your year is off to a wonderful start and you and your loved ones are doing well. Like many of you, I'm still thawing out from all these winter storms, which makes me think of warmer times like this past October, where I had the opportunity to travel to Rio, Brazil, as one of 30 members attending the Obama-Brazil Climate Convening. At this meeting, I met phenomenal leaders in climate to discuss ways to push our planet and society forward. One of those conversations that I had was specifically focused on young people and climate, which you know is something I care deeply about. It has led to a broader idea where I will be hosting a panel of leaders working in climate youth spaces to share opportunities and resources, not only for youth, but also for businesses and organizations that align. More information on that and other amazing things to come, but I just want to give you this quick update and say that I hope you stay safe and warm during this month. And as usual, if you have any questions regarding our Indigenous partnerships or inclusive economy work, please reach out at tharris@asbnetwork.org. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Hi, everyone. I'm Liza LaManna, Manager of Agriculture and Water Policy here at ASBN. Here's a quick update on our regenerative agriculture and clean water work. Our Regenerative Agriculture and Justice Steering Committee will meet next week to finalize the initiative's high-level priorities for the year. These priorities will guide ASBN's advocacy as Congress moves through another Farm Bill authorization cycle. Later this month, we'll host a policy briefing call to share those priorities and discuss what they mean for ASBN's broader work and membership. On clean water, ASBN is relaunching the Clean Water is Good for Business initiative. This initiative has long elevated business voices in support of clean water infrastructure and watershed protection, and we're expanding it to better reflect our memberships and the challenges businesses are facing, from aging infrastructure to flooding and sewage overflows, as well as focusing on federal policy levers that could help to support that, such as the Clean Water Act. There are two immediate opportunities to engage, in addition to joining the steering committee meeting next week on February 9th. First, ASBN has written a collective comment to the EPA on Section 401 of the Clean Water Act, which protects the ability of states and tribes to review federal projects and safeguard local water quality. We're asking members to sign on to this collective comment and submit their own by February 17th to reinforce the importance of local expertise and strong clean water protections. Second, we're building business support for increased investment in the state revolving funds. This is the primary federal program that helps communities finance drinking water and wastewater infrastructure. These investments reduce sewage overflows, prevent costly disruptions, and support local economies and supply chains that businesses rely on. Please sign on to ASBN's letter calling on Congress to strengthen and expand SRF funding by March 9th. If you'd like to help shape this work more deeply, we're relaunching the Clean Water is Good for Business Steering Committee on February 9th, and we'd welcome your participation. Have a great month.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our policy update for February. I'm Abby Maxwell.
And my name's Mike Green. And rather than give you a deep dive into climate and energy policy like we normally do, we're going to do something a little bit different and talk about what we're looking forward to in 2026. As many of you know, 2026 is going to be a big year. We had a lot of challenges and uphill battles in 2025, and we're looking to leave that behind us and find new ways to be strategic with our partnerships across the country, as well as take some of our long refined skills in organizing, sharing stories, and really putting businesses at the forefront. We're calling this our pro-business agenda for 2026 going into the midterm elections. And at our policy forum last week, many of you joined us. We had about 25 different members and state affiliates representing businesses across the country, talking about three core issues that what we want to keep front and center going into these midterms. Those three core issues, and I think this will resonate with a lot of you, are going to focus around affordability, around security and safety, and then also on economic opportunity. What we've seen is just a complete change in the narrative and a change in the definition on those three categories underneath the current Trump administration. But we know as business leaders that those things are key for us being able to manage and operate our businesses and grow our businesses going into the future. So we're going to be taking these three pillars Finding ways to provide the scaffolding for you, your business, business association, state chapter to apply it to your local issues, and then have really meaningful conversations. Sit down at the table with those who are running for office, with those who are starting to explore candidacy and want that business engagement and business support back in their district. We're going to work with you to set up those meetings and really be able to move forward and put our small business economy back at the forefront going into the midterm elections. But I'm going to hit pause on that. I want everyone to find an opportunity to engage with us on that campaign, and we can get you started right now. Right, Abby?
Yes, we can. The first thing we want you all to do once you hear about these and digest them a little bit is to sign on to our pledge. It's our 2026 pledge for business leaders. You can find that on our website, and it'll be in the email for our newsletter and from us as well in a lot of different places. What it means to sign on to the pledge is that you commit to taking a part in the midterms, you'll vote, you will encourage others to vote, and you will share these talking points with folks in your community and other business leaders. ASBN is going to be there with you the whole way through some of the ways that Mike just mentioned, and we'll be in much more contact as the year goes on. But this is our way to really kick things off strongly. We want as many business leaders as we can have to join us in this, and we hope you sign on. Thank you so much.
Hey, greetings. So here's the latest report on our small business and local economy group and our activities. So this last meeting and going into 2026, we're going to do a lot of focusing on what are local and state policies that can support small businesses. And an initial list was created by Michael Schuman and posted in the Main Street Journal. And that was the focus of our recent call. So some of the top priorities that we might want to think about is number one, rethinking business incentives. And we know that despite a mountain of evidence that business incentives, tax breaks, and gifts designed to attract or retain non-local companies are just failures. They continue to dominate the economic development policies of many states. So states should require that every dollar given to business in the name of economic development be preceded by a fair RFP process, open to local businesses and mandated to award subsidies to the lowest bidders or whomever could provide the most good jobs per public dollar. And two, make subsidies transparent. So, this is kind of important if we're going to really get a sense of where those dollars for economic development are going. So published an easy to navigate public database, and this reform will hold public officials accountable. Give tax breaks for companies committed to community, social, and environmental benefits. So a big step towards incentivizing businesses to further follow that kind of behavior, would go a long way through tax breaks. Four, reform procurement. So states should be prepare some annual studies of public business it does with in-state or local businesses. And they should study how much in-state business contributes to the state tax collections per contract dollar. We believe it's going to be a lot more with local businesses than it will be with non-local businesses. And based on these studies, states should implement a completely new procurement system that appropriately rewards in-state bidders. Create a public bank. Every year, North Dakota, a state with 750,000 people, earns more than $100 million in profit by putting surplus revenues on deposit in local banks and credit unions rather than in global securities. A few states and a dozen cities are looking seriously at creating a public bank. Good opportunity here. 6, enact tax credits for local investment. Michigan is close to rewarding its residents with a 50% tax credit on local investments. We know that this helps to provide more jobs per public dollar than typical corporate subsidies. So good opportunity, for a local investment. 7, create a network of community funds. If you want more local investment, we need more local investment funds. Additionally, facilitate worker buyouts. Europe, Spain, France, Italy give workers in a company about to be sold or shuttered the first right of refusal to propose a buyout. This would help transform the so-called silver tsunami, the aging out of millions of small business owners, into opportunities to expand worker co-ops and employee stock ownership plans and revitalize communities across the country. So this is just a small list of the opportunities out there, and we look forward to diving deeper as we go further into 2026.